Welcome everyone to Buggy's Delivery Service. The latest chapter of One Piece, chapter 907, has brought much excitement and arguably even more questions. Notably, what is Rocks and how does it fit into the story? Garp mentioned that Rocks was relevant to the past, specifically more than 40 years ago. Because of this, the first step for us is to create a timeline. Let's include the information we gained from 907. In this chapter, Hina and Garp both refer to Rocks in the plural form, meaning they are a group of some sort. We believe that Rocks refers to a group of powerful pirates comparable to the Yonko of today. This is supported by the fact that when Garp says, there is no doubt that before Roger came along, it was their era. As of current, we know of two eras, Roger's era and the Age of Pirates / Yonko era. So for Rocks to have the previous era named after them, it must mean that they were the top dogs of the sea back then, like Roger and the Yonko are / were. Hina alludes to Garp earning the title of Marine Hero for doing something related to Rocks. We believe that he in some way ended the Rocks era around 40 years ago, presumably by defeating the leader of the Rocks, just like he was credited for doing with Roger, ending his era. Who could have been part of the Rocks group? Hina leads us to believe that Big Mom and Kaido are in some form relevant to Rocks, as well as the reason Garp became known as a hero. We believe that Big Mom and Kaido were part of this powerful pirate alliance. We say alliance, not crew, since it was never stated that Rocks is a regular crew. We think that Rocks is an acronym where each letter indicates a pirate from the alliance. By this reasoning, the C, of course, stands for Charlotte Linlin. The K stands for Kaido. We do not know Kaido's age, but I would argue that it is not too far-fetched to assume he was alive and active more than 40 years ago. We do, however, know Big Mom's age and backstory. We know that at the age of 5, Linlin was abandoned by her parents and she was taken in by Big Bad Mother Caramel. After the events of Elbaf, she is approached by Streusen, who wanted to work with her after seeing her power. We then see that before long she amasses a huge, gigantic bounty of 500 million. This tells us that she was definitely a top threat back then, even at such a young age. So it is feasible to have her be part of such a renowned pirate alliance. We also know that the world government knew of Linlin because of her bounties and the fact that Mother Caramel wanted to sell her to them. It is also likely she was a fearsome pirate much before Roger was, since she was in possession of a rare road poneglyph which Roger stole. There's one more character who fits into the timeline very conveniently, Shakky, Rayleigh's wife, who we met in Sabaody. Obviously, she would fall under the S in the acronym. At Sabaody, she mentioned that she used to be a pirate as well, but stopped 42 years ago, and most importantly, at the time, she was chased by Garp. As you can see on the timeline, she fits in virtually perfectly. This would explain why she was chased by Garp back then and why she is so knowledgeable about the Grand Line. We also believe that Shakky quit her life of piracy at the same time as Rocks was disbanded. Therefore, the closest estimation we have for the end of the Rocks era is around 42 years ago. So now we need to answer some points brought up by Hina and Garp in 907. Firstly, what could be more worrisome for the Marines than an alliance between two Yonko? If this theory stands, possibly 5 around Yonko level pirates allying would certainly be more troublesome than just 2. It might even spell disaster for the Marines if these 5 pirates made a comeback, just like what Garp implied. But why have the Rocks pirates not made a comeback yet? We are led to believe that it is because of their captain or leader, who is missing. It may also be because the pirates of the Rocks alliance have drifted apart and are not on good terms anymore, like Kaido and Big Mom. Hina also mentions their power is still growing, specifically despite their leader being missing. This means that most of the pirates of Rocks have grown in power since that era, also implying that many of those pirates were relatively young, just like we determined Big Mom was. Despite not knowing Kaido or Shakky's age, we can assume that they do not disprove this relationship, judging by their looks and powers respectively. This explanation holds even if we assume the leader of Rocks will not make a comeback, which few have actually speculated. But we believe this to be the case, that Garp earned the prestigious title he now holds by truly defeating the leader, unlike with Roger. This means that Garp has rendered the leader of Rocks unable to continue pirating, ending their era. We have previously seen that Roger's era ended when he died, and this may also be the case for the leader of Rocks too, or at the very least he is unable to battle anymore. We highly doubt that Oda would treat Garp badly yet again, where he is credited of doing something amazing, while in reality, his actions do not mirror his supposed achievements. Who else could be relevant to the era of Rocks that we know of? Let me think. The Straw Hat Pirates' very own pervert skeleton, Brook. Judging by the timeline, it is safe to assume that Brook was a pirate during the Rocks era, as he died at the age of 38 in the Florian Triangle. 10 years before what we believe to be the end of the Rocks era. As a reference, Lyndon was 14 when Brook died. Could Brook be the one to reveal more about Rocks in the future of the story? He very well could, guys. He very well could. Thank you for sticking around until the end. Make sure to smash that like button. Make sure to comment down below if you have any questions regarding the theory or anything to add on to the theory. Also, make sure you subscribe so you stay tuned for more videos, as we are going to be pumping out videos on the weekly. Peace.